Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel, My Engineering. Today we are going to discuss about a detailed design of dogleg staircase. In my previous video, I have described basic features of staircases, type of staircases, and effective span of staircases. But in this tutorial, I will design a dogleg staircase. This is the design criteria for steps or staircase for residential building, for public building. These are the criteria we have to follow. Uh, this is the plan for a two-flight dogleg staircase. This is landing and this is RCC beam in which the landing is rested. This is the typical details of steps, and this is also a cross section of two-flight staircase, right? The type of building we are going to design is the residential one. Height of story of this building is 3 meter. The length of trade is assumed to be 200 mm, and height of riser is 150 mm. The width of landing is assumed to be 1 meter, and height of each flight, since it is two flight staircase, then height of each flight is 1.5 meter. Number of riser equals to 1.5 by 0.15, that is 10, and number of tread equal to riser minus 1. It means there are 10 riser, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, and 9 number of tread, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay, and total length of each flight, this is width of tread multiplied by number of tread, 1.8 meter, right? The breadth of the staircase b equals 1 meter, that is b, sorry, this one is b, that is 1 meter. After we arrange the staircase architecturally, now we have to go to the structural design of staircase. The structural inputs are grade of concrete FCK 25 Newton per mm square or M25. Unit weight of concrete is 25 kilonewton per meter cube. Grade of reinforcement, that is 500 Newton per mm square or Fe 500. Assuming the thickness of the weight slab is 200 mm for now, the diameter of the reinforcement is taken as 10 mm for now, and clear cover is assumed to be 20 mm. The effective depth will be gross depth minus clear cover minus half of the diameter. That gives 175 mm effective depth of the west slab of staircase. Assuming the edges of the slab are resting on beam and the width of the supporting beam is 240 mm or 0.24 meter. So effective length E is the clear length of flight, that is 1800 mm plus width of the beam, half of the width of the beam in each side, that gives total width of the beam 240 mm, and two landings are available there, that is 1000 multiplied by 2, that gives effective length of the staircase is 4040 or 4.04 meter. Another step is calculation of the load on flight. Dead load of tread and riser per meter run. This is the formula for dead load of tread and riser. 0.5 multiplied by riser R, 0.15 multiplied by 0.2 tread, and this is also 0, and 1 by tread, and one is the breadth of the flight. Weight of waist slab per meter run, that is square root of tread square plus riser square into T into gamma into 1 by tread, right? That gives 6.25 kilonewton per meter. The floor finish load is assumed to be 1 kilonewton per meter square. The floor finish load per meter run multiplied by 1 gives 1 kilonewton per meter. The total dead load on waist slab will be tread and riser load plus waist slab weight plus floor finish equals 9.13 kilonewton per meter. The total live load intensity is 3 kilonewton per meter square. It is taken from IS 875 part 2. This is the IS 875 part 2. For residential building, the corridor, passage, staircases including tire escapes and storerooms, that is 3 kilonewton per meter square. That's how we need to take live load intensity. The total live load per meter 3 into 1, that gives 3 kilonewton per meter, and total load equals to 3 plus 9.13. This means this is live load and 9.13 is the total dead load, that gives 12.13 kilonewton per meter. And total load on landing, the live load is same for landing as well. This is 3 kilonewton per meter. The floor finish is 1 kilonewton per meter, and dead load equals to 25 multiplied by 0.2, that is thickness of the landing, and this is 1 width of the landing, that gives 5 kilonewton per meter, and total load on landing will be 9 kilonewton per meter. This is the how the loading are applied in the staircase. This is yearly effective length 4.04, what we have already calculated. C, this is length of flight 1.8 meter. A equal to B, this is the flight width, this gives 1.12 meter, and WA and WB, this is the total load on landing in both landing. This is 9 kilonewton per meter, and WC equals to 12.19 kilonewton. Reaction RA RB at each in, WA into A plus WC by C, total load divided by 2, that gives 20.99 kilonewton. Okay, and the maximum shear force will be generated at the support. So maximum shear force P equals 20.99 kilonewton at the end. The ultimate shear force or factored shear force is has to be is the 1.5 multiplied by 20.99. This gives 31.49 kilonewton. For the calculation of position of the zero shear, we are going to calculate the point for zero shear, because this gives the maximum value of bending moment. So zero shear, this is the equation for zero shear. Okay, and then this gives x equal to 0.9 meter. It means x equal to 0.9 meter, and the position of zero shear from end B, this is B plus x, that gives 2.02 meter. The maximum bending moment at 2.02, because the maximum bending moment in the beam will be in the point of zero shear, that is WC W maximum bending moment B, this one is x divided by 2. Okay, and this gives x 0.9, and this is also 0.9 divided by 2, that gives 17.87 kilonewton meter. the ultimate bending moment will be at the center or at 2.02 meter. 2.022 meter equal to 26.81 kilonewton meter. The design of the section A equals to 0.87 Fy square divided by FCK B. This is the formula for under reinforced section. If we calculate the area of steel from these equations, it will be in quadratic form. So in order to solve the quadratic equation, we have the general equation, this one. So this is the value of A, B and C, which is generated from these equations. Okay, after calculating, we get AST equal to 367.49 mm square. AST minimum equals to 0.12% of B into D, that gives 240 mm square. And take the area of section, steel section, that is maximum of AST calculated or AST minimum. So we have to choose 367.49 mm square. If we assume the diameter of bar 10 mm square, area gives 78.5 mm square, spacing is assumed to be 200 mm, AST adopted would be 392.5 mm square. This is the AST or area of tension steel provided. For distribution bar, the adopted reinforcement would be 240 mm square because it is the minimum reinforcement, and bar diameter 10 mm, area 78.5 mm square, spacing 200 mm square, that gives AST again 392.5 mm square. Check for shear strength. The maximum shear force value is 31.49 kilonewton, and percentage of steel 100 multiplied by AST by BD, that gives 0.22, and shear stress due to loading is tau B, that is BU by BD, that gives 0.184 Newton per mm square. By interpolating from table 19 of IS 456, page number 73. IS 456, page number 73. We have to go to 65. This is IS table 19, where AST by BD multiplied 100. For our case, it is 0. 0.222, right? And then we have to calculate the shear stress tau C from the code. 0.22 lies between 0.15 and 0.25. After interpolating, we have to get the value between 0.29 and 0.36. That is 0.34 Newton mm square. Shear strength in slab equal to tau C equal to K tau C. K equal to 1.2 from clause 40.2.2, page number 72. From page number 72, for solid slab, the design shear strength for concrete shall be tau C K, where K has the value given below. For depth of 200, we choose 1.2 for value of K. So this is the K value, 1.2 we have taken from the IS 456, and tau c dash equals 0.41 Newton per mm square. Now since the nominal shear stress 0.184 is less than the shear strength of the concrete slab, this is 0.41 Newton per mm square, and the slab is safe in shear. Check for depth. We know the ultimate moment is 26.80 kilonewton, which we have already calculated. Now depth will be 89.78 mm by using this limiting moment equations. Since d calculated is less than d adopted, the depth is sufficient. D adopted is 175 mm for our case. Now check for deflection. The slab is checked for deflection as per clause 23.2.1 IS 456 2000, page number 37. So we have to go to page number 37 then. Page number 37. Thirty-three, 34, 35, 36, 37. The vertical deflection limit may generally be assumed to be satisfied provided that the span to depth ratio are not greater than the value obtained as below. The basic value of span to effective depth ratio for span up to 10 meter. For span up to 10 meter, the basic value of span to effective depth ratio should be, for simply supported case, 20. So now this is the L by D, span by effective depth ratio, right? This is the formula for deflection criteria: alpha, beta, gamma, del and lambda. Alpha equal to 20 for simply supported case as per this A. For B, for span above 10 meter, the values in A may be multiplied by span by 10 meter except for cantilever. In this case, our span is less than 10 meters, so we have to keep the value 1. This is the value of beta. Beta should be 1. Now gamma. Depending on the area and stress of steel for tension reinforcement, the value in A or B shall be modified by multiplying with the modification factor obtained as per figure 4. We need to go to figure 4 then. The percentage of tensile reinforcement and modification factor. Before that, we have to calculate Fs. This is 0.58 Fy, area of cross section of steel required, divided by area of cross section of steel provided. So we have to calculate Fs first. Fs. From this equation, what we get, the Fs value is 271.52 Newton per mm square. 0.58 multiplied by Fy, that is 500. Area of cross section of the steel required, this is 367.49, and area of steel provided 392.5. That gives 271.52. Now we have to look at the figure graph. This is 271. This is 240, and 271 lies between 290 and 240. And area of steel reinforcement or percentage of tension reinforcement is 0.22. So we have to interpolate it like this, right? And that gives 1.45. If we .4, I just assumed it is 1.45 here. Similarly, delta del equal to 1. How? Depending on the area of compression reinforcement, the value of span to depth ratio be further modified by multiplying with the modification factor obtained as per figure 5. As per figure 5, this is the modification factor for compression reinforcement. Since we have not provided any type of compression reinforcement, the percentage of compression reinforcement in this case would be 0. For 0 compression reinforcement, the modification factor would be 1. That's why we choose 1. Okay, the last one is lambda. For flanged beam, the value of A or B may be modified as per figure 6 and reinforcement percentage using as per 4.5 5 should be best. For this case, we have to use this formula, ratio of the wave width to flange width. Since this is the rectangular section, the flange width to wave width to flange width would be 1, right? For 1, this is the 1, and reduction factor would be again corresponding to this point 1. So we choose value 1. And L by D ratio actual equal to effective depth by effective span by effective depth equals 23.095. Allowable L by D ratio equals to 20 into 1 into 1.45 into 1 into 1. That gives 29 mm. Since allowable L by D is greater than actual L by D, the staircase is safe in deflection. The check for development length. We have the moment of resistance of the given section with design reinforcement. I mean the 10 mm reinforcement bar and 200 mm spacing gives AST of 392.5 mm square. By using this reinforcement value, the moment of resistance can be calculated as 29 kilonewton meter. Since bar diameter is 10 mm, the LD1, this is the development length given by the IS 456 code, and this is LT2 1.3 m1 by B L0. By assuming L0 equals 0, the tau BD value will be 1.4 for plane reinforcement. But from figure from IS 456 code, for deformed bars, bond stress can be increased by 10% from 26.2.1.1 IS 456, page number 43. Page number 43. We have to go to page number 43 of IS 456, right? 43. This is the development length equation. 43. And the bond stress value in limit state method for plane bars is 1.4 for M25 grade of concrete. Okay, for deformed bar conforming to IS 1786, this value shall be increased by 60%. That's why we use this 60%. Now LD1 equals 0.875 500 10 by 4 multiplied by 1.4 multiplied by 1.6 gives 185 mm, and LD equals to this equation 1.3 m1 by B. M1 equals to 29 kilonewton meter. B is the shear force value, maximum shear force value. L0 is 0, and that gives 1178 mm. Since LD1 is less than LD2, it is safe for development length or anchorage length. Okay, that's how the design is completed. Now the design drawings has to be done in AutoCAD. The typical section of reinforcement detailing, we have used 10 mm. This 4 is the identity or number of the bars. 10 mm, 200 mm center to center. This means this main bar is 10 mm diameter and spacing is 200 mm center to center. And for this arrow gives the distribution bar. For all the distribution bar, this is 10 mm, 200 mm center to center. For all the distribution bar, which is shown by arrow in this end and another end. Okay, that's how the detailing of the staircase is done for a typical floor. The another is the for ground floor, where pedestal have been provided at the ground floor, because if we do not provide any type of pedestal or rigid support, this staircase may settle down. So in order to avoid this settlement, we have used pedestal. But if it is connected with the tie beam in the ground floor, we don't need any type of pedestal. That's why it is different from other typical section of the staircase. The typical section of reinforcement detailing at ground floor, and the reinforcement is same as in typical section. This is 10 mm 200 center to center for distribution bar, and 10 mm 1000 at the rate 200 center to center for main bar. That's how this tutorial completes. I will upload other videos for other type of staircase. Until that, you have to wait for other detailed design of staircase. Thank you very much, and please subscribe my channel so that you can be updated as soon as I upload the other videos. Okay.